Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Face in your face. Face in your face.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching the channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic, so for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I also have a smaller YouTube channel called Latina Diaspora, where I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos in the United States. The link to that channel is in the description. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, the subscriber mode has been enabled for the first 5 minutes. Meaning, if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to be a subscriber for the first 5 minutes. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just recently joined, I really appreciate your love and continued support. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those follow me on social media. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So, what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so already, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. And I see that my friend Gigi is in the chat. Good evening, Gigi. Thank you very much for stopping by. And let me take the opportunity to let all you know that my dear friend Gigi has her own YouTube channel where she discusses issues pertaining to mixed people and other interesting topics. So I'm going to ask that you please show some love to her, check out her content, and subscribe. So being that this is Friday night, we're going to have another episode of Open Discussion where I will share my views regarding several topics. Of course, you will have the opportunity to opine in the chat regarding anything that I wish to discuss. Also, if there's any topics that you wish for me to discuss, I will do my best to comply. Okay. Now, if you ask me to discuss something where I'm not all that familiar, I will be transparent and state. But I do have things on my mind, so we're going to discuss it. First of all, let me just talk about next week's schedule. I'm going to be live next week, Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night. Monday night, Tuesday night, and Friday night will be my main channel. And Thursday will be my other channel, Latina Diaspora. Now, Monday, I will be discussing a very serious issue regarding thoughts of self-deletion. Okay? I have discussed this on other occasions, but I am going to discuss it again because it is a serious topic. So what I will be doing is I'll be discussing the causes. I also will provide some resources in case if there's anybody out there that's depressed or thinking about self-deleting. First of all, I just want to say don't do it because no matter what's going on in your life, you're very important in God's sight, and plus you're very important to your loved ones. And whatever is going on in your life, there is a solution. Okay, I can testify to that as a person that actually had thoughts of self-deletion. Well, thank God I'm still here. Okay, so I will have a serious discussion about that. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is everybody that's talking about Dr. Omar Johnson. Okay, now I know just about everybody, and his brother has done videos about him, and I've seen him in action, so to speak. Now, for those of you who have been under a rock and don't know anything about Dr. Umar Johnson, he is he's well versed. I'll say that much. He has spoken a lot about Pan-Africanism and things of that nature. Now, in all fairness, I don't know what that is. I need to do some research regarding it. But he is a man of many contradictions. I mean, he's the one who goes around talking about how we should love the black queens and things of that nature, and and not get into interracial relationship and things of that nature. Unfortunately, he does not practice what he preaches. Okay, first of all, he has, at least as far as we know, two baby mamas. Okay, and of course, there have been issues and allegations regarding him not paying child support. But the biggest controversy is regarding his school, so to speak. The Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey School. Now, the controversy is this. He has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars to build this school. And of course, one of the issues is he's not being transparent. Every time, these questions, when will the school actually open, he always has an excuse. Oh, this is a problem. This is a problem. Oh, it's the white man is causing the delay, things of that nature. And of course, he has managed to get hundreds of people to donate money to him. In fact, he's kind of like the African version of Donald Trump in that sense. So let me just share with you the latest scam that he's doing, which is, this is for ladies who live in Wellington, Delaware. If you donate $500 to his school, he will treat you to a free lunch anywhere in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. First of all, paying $500 for a free lunch, that's not a free lunch, okay? So basically what you are doing is you're paying $500 for the quote-unquote privilege of him taking you out to lunch. I don't know if you're aware of what Lyndon the father Rican Rican brother Malaveri Circus. What is this saying to us? There's a sucker board every minute. And look, and the fact that, and you know what's the sad part? There's going to be women that's going to donate and have donated $500 to this scammer for the purpose of being invited to a free lunch. Good evening, Georgia. I'm doing okay. Actually, let me just cam up for a brief moment. See, I have a new set of headphones that I'm using. Maybe that's the reason why I sound like I sound. So right now I'm talking about the famous, or better yet, infamous Dr. Umar Johnson. Okay, let me just cam off. And his latest scam. Okay, so now, let me see this. Say, please, hey, this is your Captain Jose Negon. We'll be the same down to the conference airport. But please, oh my goodness gracious. But let me just try to remain focused. So the latest scam for Dr. Umar Johnson is, and this is towards the lady. If you donate $500 to his so-called school, he will treat you to a private lunch anywhere in the city of Wellington, Delaware. If that's not a scam, I don't know what the scam is. Okay, first of all, personally, I don't think he's going to take any of these ladies to lunch. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean, he's so, I'm sorry. I usually don't like to make judgments, but he's so, if anything, I'll be surprised if he takes these ladies out to the McDonald's and then he'll make ladies pay. But the whole thing, you know, he's been talking about creating a school for the whole purpose of educating the youth of the African American community. And of course, the latest scandal is that the city of Wellington was going to take his school away. Oh, wait a minute. I see we have a guest. So let me just state for the record, the views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host of the show. Any attempt to copy the material without the consent of the host is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your rights to your image. Some of the views that people hold may be considered offensive to some views. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. And now we're going to bring in our guest. Walking aboard the Uncommon Sense flight.
I'm sorry, Jose. Dude and Gigi are just cracking up. I've been cracking up the whole time, man, over how you sound right now. I'm sorry. I know I got you a little bit off topic, though, regarding Umar Johnson, the grifter, but I'm sorry. Gigi is right. You sound like an airplane captain.
Well, that being the case, the captain has turned on the safety belts light on. So please remain seated throughout the duration of this flight.
And are you going to allow Umar Johnson on the Common Sense flight?
No, his ticket has been denied.
Aww. And Captain Jose Negron, could you explain to everybody on your aircraft why Umar Johnson is not allowed to be on your aircraft and why he will not be descending down into the Common Sense Airport? Explain why, Captain.
Because I am not going to provide my platform so he can bamboozle my audience and try to bamboozle the ladies to make donations to his so-called school.
Got it. And do you feel that Dr. Umar Johnson would just taint your entire aircraft and be a huge bad influence to your airline company?
I believe so. Now, some of the people who are part of the uncommon folk actually have common sense, so they won't be deceived by the oratory of Dr. Umar Johnson. But some of the less intelligent members of the flock might be deceived.
Understood, though. So, because I believe that it's going to take about 5 hours or so, or 6 hours to arrive at the Common Sense Airport. And as you already know, that on your aircraft, Captain Jose, we're allowed to have like social time, recreational time. We can speak with everybody else who is also on board your aircraft. We can socialize, learn from each other, and just try to, reinstate common sense that isn't so common anymore. And so during the 5 to 6 hour flight, you feel that Dr. Umar Johnson is just going to just corrupt the minds of people on your aircraft. And you also want to guarantee, customer satisfaction. And that also means being a bit careful about who you're going to allow in your aircraft, right?
Yes, because this, just like being in my cyber home, it is a privilege to board this flight, okay? And only those who actually exhibit common sense is allowed to board.
Got it. And what would make your airline company and just your aircraft just unique and different from, let's just say, American Airlines, United Airlines, or JetBlue, or Frontier Airlines? Because clearly Umar would be flying on those, or he would better yet have to choose one of those airline companies, whereas you're pretty much going to ban him from your aircraft platform the same way you have already banned a few people from your cyber platform.
Well, see, here I try to create a space where people can actually use the gray cells that God blessed them with, okay? It's not, I did not create this space so people can spread stupidity or massive insanity.
Got it, though, because I understand, though, is that, like, you're in the cockpit, you do have to really focus, though, and you do have to follow airspace guidelines. And I believe that having somebody like Umar Johnson on your aircraft would probably not be a good idea if it's going to interfere with your job.
Well, not only Dr. Umar Johnson, but basically anybody else that's been banned from this platform, or in this case, this aircraft.
Like somebody else, so you've already have like some people who are already banned from your airline company and your aircraft. Umar would be one of them, though, but yeah. But
Yes,
you already
I
do
would
know
not
that he's...
mention their names, but I think
Right.
yes, um,
Go on.
yes. Others I will not mention, but I believe we all know who are those unfortunate individuals that have been permanently banned from this flight.
Well, you have to do what you have to do just to protect your aircraft and along with your customers, because, your job as a captain is to, facilitate the satisfaction of your customers, of your airline company, including your aircraft. Because customer
Yes,
satisfaction is crucial. And you're going to want to make sure that, you have things that are going to be conducive to a comfortable flight for your customers. And if you're going to have some unruly passengers or the Umar Johnson types, then I think that's just going to make people rather dissatisfied on the common sense aircraft.
Yes.
Because it does matter.
Because I do care about our beloved uncommon folk.
So
Now,
therefore, ticket
so
has been voided.
yes, and you will be receiving your refund from the uncommon airlines pretty soon.
Well, that's pretty reasonable, though. I mean, at least you're going to refund Umar Johnson's money, though. So that shows that you are reasonable, though. You're like, you can have your money back off the spot, but stay off of my aircraft.
Well, unlike Dr. Umar Johnson, I actually do issue refunds to those who've been denied access to the flight.
That's great, though, because you do know that your average airline company is not really the best at refunding people their money. Not JetBlue, not United Airlines, not American Airlines, and not Frontier or Spirit Airlines.
Yes, but here at Uncommon Airlines, we provide uncommon service, and we guarantee uncommon service.
That's great. That's beautiful. And so which kinds of people would you prefer to have on your aircraft? At least just those who are on the opposite end of the spectrum from Umar?
Basically, anyone that exhibits a degree of common sense, that's able to discuss their topics with a certain amount of intelligence without getting emotional and without actually going off the deep end.
Understandable, though, because frankly enough, though, I mean, like, I do tend to be very patient with a lot of people, though, but I just personally would not really want to sit next to a passenger, one of your passengers, who could potentially be like Umar Johnson, though, because first and foremost, though, it becomes ethnic idolatry, and I already know what that's about. I've been there before. I'm not interested in revisiting that part of my life again. So, could I please get a new seat on your aircraft, Captain Jose?
Oh, sure. Definitely. Consider it done.
As a matter of fact, can I just come into the cockpit with you?
Usually I don't do that, but on this rare occasion, yes.
Don't worry, though. I'm not going to touch any of your controls or anything. And your co-pilot, don't worry. I'm not going to even sit in his chair, though. I'll just be kind of like in the back chair, which does allow a third passenger in the cockpit.
Now, obviously, I think you probably heard about the latest scam from Dr. Umar Johnson, of which, for a $500 donation to his so-called school, he would treat you to a private lunch anywhere of your choice in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Your thoughts?
I don't really buy that, though, because I just feel like this is just some type of stunt he's trying to pull just to stay relevant, to be honest. I don't think any of that stuff is coming from a good heart at all. I think the motive behind all of that stuff is just a shot at staying relevant, because I honestly forgot all about Umar Johnson because of my direction and what I'm out there doing on the streets. And somebody who is doing this stuff with the possible motive for staying relevant, it's going to be somebody who's just going to be forgotten about. And he happens to be one of them.
Yeah. Before we continue, Gigi, if you wish to board this flight, the link is in the chat. You're more than welcome to board, and you're more than welcome to opine your viewpoints to this captain.
Amen. That would be lovely, though. So, yeah, Gigi, though, feel free to onboard the flight whenever. No rush.
Yes. I mean, let me tell you something. Until like maybe a couple months before, I never knew this individual existed. Okay. Uh, but I mean, considering the fact that he has taken hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations for a school, well, quote school that has not been open, and in my estimation will never be open. And the fact that there are people that are still wanting to donate to this person, um, the saying, there's a sucker bone every moment.
True. I'm not really impressed.
I mean, I'll grant you this much. He knows how to talk a game, but let's just say that transparency is a foreign word to this individual.
Yeah, but that's typically going to be the case with your everyday grifter. They do lack transparency, though, because it's more important, though, is about where your heart stands in real time and who knows you in real time. That matters far more than your online persona or caricature. Because people pull off their own personas and caricatures on the internet all the time. But that mask will fall right off as soon as you really get to know them in real time. It's kind of like funny how like you even have a few people saying that I'm pretending to be a Christian, though, when they aren't really out there sharing God's redemptive love at all, though. They don't prey on other people, though. They don't really love on other people. Their hearts are far from the Lord, though. So it's kind of funny, though. But you guys see what I do and everything. And all that stuff is real-time activities. So if you want to get to know me, you'll get to know me, all right? But can we get to know you? And whether you're wearing a mask or not.
Well, look, in all fairness, Jojo, we may know several people here in these YouTube streams. But as far as like interacting outside of YouTube, it's a very select few. And it has to be that way because not everyone is transparent.
No, not at all, though. But I'm pretty open about, like what I do and where I came from and this, that, and the first, my job too. How I think it's like a huge blessing. I mean, because you and Dawn, you guys already know what I do and everything. So it feels good to at least just be that testimony warrior who can also encourage the body of Christ and inspire other people to share their testimonies so that they can continue to inspire people to become better versions of themselves.
Well, we are fully aware that there's certain individuals who do not know one blessed thing about us, but yet they're very outspoken in what they perceive us to be. I mean, we all know what the things we've been accused of being and accused of.
Well, folks who don't really know you like that in real time or happen to be your biggest critics.
Yeah.
I guess that those are going to be the ones who are not permitted to board your aircraft.
No, their access to this flight has been permanently denied, and they will be refunded their money.
Let's just say if they ever repented and took full-blown accountability for everything that they've said about you, and they are very regretful and remorseful about it, would you then allow them to board your aircraft?
That will be on a case by case basis. I will
Or
have
like,
to determine I will have to determine whether or not their repentance is sincere and what are their motives.
and if it was sincere, and if they paid a little bit of an extra fee to board your aircraft, would you then do it? If Because we know
I,
that money doesn't mean much at times, but the repentance was sincere.
like I said, all I can say is a case by case basis. Of course, we all know this one individual, um, where we will have no. At one point, we will have a discussion on your platform. We're not going to mention that person's name, but I think it's well
Yes.
established.
Yep, because I was still am yeah, me and Dawn are still planning on, yes, hosting the meeting. Whereas me and Dawn are going to be the mediators. But yes, it'll happen. It will happen. Or he's gonna have to apologize.
Not only apologize, but he's going to have to recant everything that he had said about yours truly.
True.
And for the benefit of those who are not familiar, I've been accused of being a racist. Now, mind you, I have had all different types of individuals appeared on board this flight. I have had men aboard. I had women aboard. I have people of different ethnicities. I have people who've been mixed. I even have a whole mixture. So how can you credibly say that I'm racist?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Weird.
But we do have to consider the source, and we also have to consider the mental well-being of the individual in question that made that accusation.
Definitely though. And yeah, even in our Discord I asked Don like how he's doing and everything though, because we do care about his well-being. I do. So yeah, I'll be waiting for an answer.
I mean, look, I don't wish anyone any ill will, okay? Unfortunately, there are individuals that have been permanently banned for legit reasons, basically showing disrespect towards me and not respecting the guidelines that I have established on this platform.
Exactly.
And may I state, not only had this individual had issues with me, but this individual had issues with other content creators, which I suspect they're not going to be as forgiving as I am. But then again, I'm a Christian. Your thoughts?
And so my thoughts are, until further notice, you're going to keep them off of your aircraft.
Correct.
You do have a nice sized aircraft that can fit at least a capacity of 200 people.
Yes. And I do provide uncommon service and this aircraft is equipped with an uncommon staff of uncommon stewardesses and flight personnel.
And describe your flight attendants.
It's well attended by individuals who exhibit uncommon sense.
So just exhibit the decorum of common sense.
Correct.
And your co-pilot? Describe him or her.
Okay. Top notch, educated, well informed, and is well capable, is extremely capable of expressing their viewpoints without getting emotional.
Nice. So you do have a good crew up there, though, a crew in the cockpit of your flight and some brilliant flight attendants, and who else is an employee on your aircraft? So yeah, I guess it's just you, your co-pilot, and flight attendants.
Yes, and we must not forget um, the ground crew. We must not
Mm-hmm.
forget the staff that man the booths and things like that, and who service passengers.
That's true.
Okay, and also we must not forget our friends at TSA to make sure that people board the flight safely.
That's true. Then you have your airport police, and what are they going to do other than
Well,
act like just any other police officer who is trying to protect and serve, but they're protecting and serving your airport facility, the uncommon sense
well, they
airport.
well they're gonna do their due diligence. They're gonna make sure that the grounds is safe and secure, and they're going to remove those individuals who act unruly.
And what's your airport jail like?
It's an uncommon facility where it, those individuals who violated the decorum will have to spend their time to meditate on their misdeeds.
Before they are transferred to the county jail?
Correct.
Got it. And I actually
Now,
like how
yeah.
I actually like this cosplay. I like this cosplay while at the same time it is still not deviating completely from your original topic regarding Umar Johnson, because you're saying that you do not want the Umar Johnson types to board your aircraft because you feel as though it'll just really make a very uncomfortable flight for you and your passengers, to where it would result in a customer dissatisfaction, which would badly affect your aircraft and airplane company.
Well,
So
okay. Let's keep it a hunger. Okay. First of
your
all,
airline company,
he
yeah.
talks about
Hmm.
yeah. Let's keep it a hunger. We're talking about an individual who talks about African queens and how black men should not be pursue snow bunnies and things of that nature. Well, this individual has two baby mamas, and there's been allegations of which not paying child support on his children. So for him to be talking about African pride and how African families should be together, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm more qualified to discuss that issue than he is, and I'm Latino.
Yeah, I mean, it boils down to that one Bible verse from 1 Timothy 5, verse 8. For if anyone does not provide for one's own relatives and one's own household, has denied the faith and is worse than a non-believer. I've always known that verse by heart. And folks, that is from 1 Timothy 5, verse 8. So he really can't be out there preaching about that if he happened to have those personal, complicated issues going on, though, when it comes to having the baby mamas, as well as not really paying child support for an estranged daughter of his. It practically makes
And
everything that he talks about inadmissible. So who cares if, yeah, black men are pursuing white women? That's between them and God and what God is going to do with them and everything. But I'm like, bro, you have an estranged daughter that you probably owe some money to, probably some back child support payments that you need to make. So, but in the meantime, shut up.
not only that, he's not married, seen fit to marry any one of his baby mamas. And
Yeah.
then to add insult to injury, to actually go talk about, well, if your wife had the opportunity or your girlfriend had the opportunity, they will gladly donate $500 for a private luncheon with him. Talking about
Yeah.
an inflated ego.
Yeah, I mean that's just the life of a grifter, is doing whatever they can to satisfy their egos and feed it though. In my case, when it came to me establishing my ministry, I was being very upfront and forthcoming about where I came from. Yeah, I have a ministry now for single men who want to strive for sexual purity until marriage, which includes that, hey, you gotta wait until marriage until you do that such and such. And don't touch yourself either, though, because it still is a lustful activity. But however, here's the difference. I've already talked about how I partook in all of that stuff before. I was at a certain point in my time sexually immoral, but since I still had fresh air in my lungs, I was still able to repent from that, turn away from it, and just become somebody better than who I once was before. It doesn't make me better or worse than anyone else, but it for sure makes me better than the previous version of myself. That's transparency. But with a grifter, you're not going to see much transparency. So there'd be a huge difference between me and him, Captain Jose. Same thing goes for all these like other men too. I gotta be honest about this men though, because I'm not gonna say my family member's name who was like that though. But let's just say he did have multiple baby mamas. He did get involved in the church, but there was just a certain point in his life where he just was not really taking care of his kids. And just remember that verse from 1 Timothy 5 verse 8. And therefore, you should probably step down if that's the case. And Umar Johnson should pretty much step down from what he's doing until the situation with his estranged mother is taken care of, along with any other back payments he has for child support. Because that will automatically get your anointing taken away. And if you're still doing what you're doing and everything, then you must have anointed yourself then.
Now this is attention passengers. This is your captain speaking. Now we're going to take a detour, and we're going to talk about another topic which I will be discussing on Monday, prevention of self-deletion.
That would be a great topic too, Captain.
Yeah. Yes. Now, in the spirit of transparency, now there's been 3 times in my life when I have faced depression, and I have actually had thoughts of self-deletion. Obviously, I've been delivered. Okay, and so I will be discussing what some of the causes. I also will be providing some resources for the audience in case if they know anyone that's currently experiencing thoughts of self-deletion, or anyone themselves are having those thoughts. Okay, because while it may seem like that's a solution, that's not an actual solution. And in fact, what will happen is you will create a great deal of hurt among your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts?
It does, though, and it's a super duper easy way for the enemy to get into your head and try to have his way with you. because the enemy attacks when you're at your most vulnerable. And if it comes to, yes, self-deletion ideation, then that's a super duper easy way for the enemy to slide on in, though, because then that means you will not at all be able to fulfill the purpose and the calling that the Lord has already on you and your purpose. Then this also means that if you may even be an unsaved person, then you may end up going to a place that you don't want to go to. Enemy knows all of this stuff, though, and he's able to use, yes, self-deletion thoughts to have the way. But needless to say, that's why we all need to have some really healthy safeguards in our lives. We need all of the best resources and really good accredited mental health counselors to truly be there for the person, establish solid relationships, and more importantly, bro, treat people with dignity, because which is what folks have forgotten to do. Because treating somebody with dignity can really help them recognize their own dignity, and that in itself will rule out any thoughts of self-deletion. Those are my thoughts.
Yes. Good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Yeah, good evening,
Yeah,
Irby.
and I believe there's a lot of disagreement within the body of Christ regarding what happens to the soul of those who unfortunately decide to self-delete. Is that the case?
Yeah, that definitely is the case, all right, though, where we're all pretty divided on that. It's complicated, though, and honestly, I don't even think I could even give a straightforward answer about that. But what I do know is that maybe the Lord can redeem somebody who has already done something like that, especially if that person was always on fire for the Lord and everything, and the person got, baptized in the Holy Spirit. So there could be a possibility, yes, but then I am going to have to also be honest. In many cases, no. Because if you die without knowing God through his Son, then that's what leads to eternal separation.
Yes.
Something I don't want.
April Showers, thank you for stopping by.
Hey, April. So yeah,
I'm sorry,
that's
go
all. No, that's pretty much it, though, when it comes to like a complex issue like that. So a person who did know him through his Son could possibly end up making it, though. I hope so. But then I do also know, like I said, that many people don't know him. And if you die not really knowing him, then that's just where the separation happens eternally.
But you know what's the danger is that we have people who honestly believe that they know the Lord, but their lives do not reflect it.
Because the hearts are far from him, whereas they honor him with the lips. But yeah, Matthew 15 verse 8, though. But yep, that's right.
Yes. So I just want to state that Irby and April Showers have their own channels. So I'm going to ask that you show some love with them, check out their content, and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Now on our flight, we're going to take another detour. We will not be discussing Dreamy's new video today. That was aired today. Have you had an opportunity to see it?
Unfortunately, I have not had an opportunity to check out Dreamy's, or in other words, your other passengers' stream.
Okay, well, actually,
but what happened?
Dreamy did a short video regarding this set of twins. Now they claim to be mixed, but they're really not. And that they were, they asked to visit this small town that's made was created just for white people, and they were asked if they could visit, and it was denied. Now, if you want to create a small community just by yourself and nobody else, of course that's your own choice. But the issue I have is that we're living in a country where we have diversity. We have people of various different ethnic backgrounds. We have people who have different philosophies. We have people with different mindset. Okay, so just to create a small town just for yourselves and isolate yourself from everybody else, you are depriving yourself of what you can learn from others. Your thoughts?
Freedom of association and freedom of expression and freedom of movement. People like that live in a country that allows for all of that, and it should remain like that. So if somebody wants to go off and form their autonomous community in the Ozark areas of Arkansas, because I'm familiar with what's going on there, then they should have that unalienable right to do so. And that should be it.
Yeah. I mean, if you wish to, if you wish to isolate yourself from everybody else, that is your choice. However, you're missing out on what you can learn from other communities. Okay, I have been blessed with the fact that individuals from different backgrounds had boarded this flight and expressed express and share their viewpoints, and I have learned from them.
Same here. I was born and raised in a place called Berkeley, California, where I got a taste of just about everything. And I would never take it back for anything. But there are some people who may even just in fact be called to live in such isolated communities still and be very, very autonomous and even a little bit separate from the world, such as the Amish and the Mennonites. But if everybody were doing that, then it would lead to disastrous effects.
Yes, that is true. That is very true. I mean, what people fail to understand that this is like a melting pot, so to speak, and we have people from virtually every nation on the planet. Not only that, but we also have a people of multiple philosophies and belief systems.
That's right.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. And now we're going to experience another detour. And we're going to be talking about things like my pending retirement.
Nice. Oh, Jose. So, gosh, I wish I could talk more to you, Captain Jose Negron. But in the early morning hours, I have a training that I need to attend to. But it's been a special privilege being on your aircraft.
Well, on behalf of Uncommon Airlines, we truly appreciate your patronage.
Oh, I greatly appreciate it, though. And the I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired. The patronage was honorable. Thank you.
Yes. Well, hopefully you will grace this airline on Monday when I discuss the topic regarding prevention of self-deletion.
Thank you, Captain Jose. And I do wish your
your co-pilot in the cockpit, along with your flight attendants and your passengers, a very blessed day and a happy, good weekend. And you take care.
Thank you very much for boarding Uncommon Airlines.
Thank you,
Your
though. And
captain says good night.
Thank you. And your Uncommon Airlines is going to get a 5 out of 5 star rating. Highly recommended airline company, the Uncommon Sense Airline.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.
Okay. Take care. Yes. So the next thing that I'm going to be talking about is, of course, my thoughts regarding my retirement. For the benefit of those who are not well versed, I plan to retire in about 2 years. Okay. I will be 3 in October. So I plan to retire at age 5, which means I plan to retire towards the end of 2027 or early 2028. Now, of course, as we get older, we think about our retirement. We think about how we want to go off. We want to leave the working world. Okay? There are certain individuals that expect this like a big send-off. There's certain individuals that would prefer to retire privately. I'm not gonna lie. I've thought about maybe retiring privately, and I'm gonna explain to you my rationale. I have been working as a municipal employee for almost 26 years. I have been a union rep for 21. I've been a trustee for 11. When you've been an municipal employee as long as I have been, and you also have been a union rep as for long as I have been, and also as a trustee, well, you come across a lot of great people like co-workers and things of that nature. You also would have come across some fake people as well. Okay. Now, part of the reason why I'm thinking about retiring privately because I really don't want to have to deal with the BS, and I really don't want to deal with fake people who, for months and months on end, have not said jack about me. All of a sudden, they hear that I am retiring, and then they have the urge to say, "Oh, congratulations on retirement," and all that. It's like, I hate BS. Okay. And I also hate people who are being fake about it. If you're the type of person that never liked me and who never matched with me, never reason, just keep your distance. Okay. The last thing I want to deal with is on my last day is a bunch of fake people coming up to me and with the obligation, congratulations on saying your retirement. Okay. I just want to make sure that my time before I retire is as stress-free as possible. I'm fortunate in the sense that my job is relatively stress-free. I do have employees that, for reasons beyond my understanding, don't like yours truly. And that's fine. But I will say this: when you're thinking about when you're getting close to the time of retirement, you need to think about how you're going to spend time. And this is what happens with some people. Some people will work past their normal retirement to their 70s, sometimes the 80s. Not me. Okay. I have plans for what I'm going to do when I retire. Okay. One thing I plan to do is travel. There's a lot of places I have not had the opportunity to visit. First. Second, I plan to continue to be active with my union. It's just a difference in retiring. Third, in my neighborhood, there are 2 senior citizen centers. And plus, there are other senior citizen centers where I can go. They always plan activities for them. So I plan to be very active. And another thing I plan to do is perhaps volunteer my time, perhaps the soup kitchen, perhaps help to prepare, or maybe prepare food parcels for those individuals that go to pick up groceries because they need food. In other words, I plan to maintain an active life during my retirement because it is my experience that those who are active during their retirement tend to live longer. Okay. Now, in all fairness, I don't know how long I'm going to live. I do know that the typical lifespan for an adult male is usually between 70 to 80 years old. And then if you live past 80, you should consider yourself blessed. Now, in all fairness, both my parents lived to be 80. My father passed away when he was 83 years old. My mother passed away when she was 86. And unfortunately, I have survived. I outlived each of my meals. So I have learned the value of the family members I have left and to enjoy their company. And of course, I am mindful of the fact tomorrow is not promised to anybody. So with that in mind, we should all strive with the time that we have given here to make ourselves as productive as we can and to be the best version of ourselves. And what that means is be transparent, admit when you err, find your mistakes, and strive to do better. I have a saying, it's not good English, but it's true. When you mess up, fess up. In other words, take accountability for your actions. Learn from them. Okay? And make sure that you do not repeat those same mistakes. Unfortunately, not everyone has the maturity to take accountability for actions. This is something that my parents taught me among the many lessons that my parents taught me. Now, I just want to remind everybody that um, the link to join the panel has been pinned. If anyone wishes to hit the link, they may do so. If not, I understand. Okay. And I gotta admit, I did enjoy the cosplay regarding the captain and things of that nature. It was very humorous. But in the spirit of transparency, I am using headphones, so I can not only hear myself, but hear the other people as they speak. But one thing that I would say, and I will continue to say, that I truly appreciate the people who support me. Okay? I've said this before, and it goes without saying. The reason why I have the success that I have is because of the uncommon folk. Because week in and week out, you either watch my content live, or you catch it on the playback. So I really appreciate. Okay. All of you will never know how deeply I appreciate all of you. And in all fairness, this is a labor of love, what I do. Okay? I don't get a penny doing this. I think I've gotten on Cash App. I've never stressed that because to me, if you hit the like button, or if you enter a comment or subscribe, that means a lot to me. And even if I get to the point when I do become monetized, I suspect I'm not gonna make a whole bunch of money. And I'm fine with that. Okay. Because realistically speaking, only ones that actually make any serious money are those content creators that have hundreds of thousands of subs, who get hundreds of people to donate with Cash Apps and super chats and things of that nature. And another thing I have really done is ask people to donate, because I think the fact that you see fit to watch my content, subscribe, comment, or share, that's enough. Okay. Now, in all fairness, it does appear annoying when you have people constantly, and I mean constantly, begging to donate. I have never been that way. No, never will. Because I'm going to keep it real. Some people get annoyed when people are constantly begging for donations. And I respect the opportunity. I just as appreciate anyone who view my content, whether it be from the clouds or in the chat or hop on the panel. And one thing that I do promise, this will never be an echo chamber here. Everyone, and I repeat, everyone has the opportunity to express their views. And if we disagree, we'll agree. But we're going to be agreeable when we disagree. And believe me, I think I have disagreed with virtually everyone who appeared on the chat or on the panel. But yeah, I have learned from disagreements. And there have been times where my perspective have changed. Okay. And that's because I understand, and I have the ability to think. I have the ability to rationalize things and analyze things logically. Okay. Which for some people, unfortunately, it's a lost art. Okay. Now, the final thing that I'm going to talk about is that I do miss the individuals who used to frequent this platform and don't do it now. Of course, those individuals know, or they should know, they're always welcome to appear on the platform. But of course, everyone has their own issue. Everyone has their lives to deal with. And not everyone can have the time to get on the platform and shoot the breeze with yours truly. I missed them nevertheless. And I do wish those very well. Okay. In fact, I even pray for them. Okay, because truth be told, nobody knows what they go through. And the reality is this. It's not easy to devote time and energy week in and week out creating content. Okay. Particularly if you want to do it well. And you don't want to just come across as basically like an idiot talking without saying anything logical. Not everyone can devote the time to come up with topics. Not everyone can devote the time either to do research. Everyone can actually have the time to actually do these lives. Okay? I get it. But I will say this. To those who aspire to become serious content creators, in order to be successful, you do need to create content on a regular basis. Because particularly if you are a new channel, it can take a while, before the word gets spread regarding your channel. It takes a while for the algorithm to take place, and it took a while for me. Okay. It took a while for me to develop an algorithm. It took a while for me to develop a support base. I have been fortunate because I've been able to produce content on a regular basis. But then again, I don't have a family support. I don't have a wife. I don't have children. It is us, yours truly. Okay. And of course, I have my cyber children. And all of you know who I'm talking about. So, being that no one else is going to hit the panel, let me just I can see. Okay. Yeah, you have to excuse me. I have every now and then, I always have to check to make sure, that I greet the people who are watching in Instagram. But I will go live on Monday, and I will be talking about a sixth topic: prevention of self-deletion. Okay, it is unfortunate that every day that there are people who have not only thought about self-deletion but actually succeeded, and they operate under the notion that if they're not around, things will get better. What they don't realize is by self-deleting, they leave a lot of hurt, and also people are left with guilt. Basically, why they didn't pick it up, why they didn't pick it up, why they didn't reach out, and things of that nature. Um, and if nothing else, you owe it to yourself um, not to self-delete. And let me tell you something. As a person that actually am a survivor of thoughts of self-deletion, no matter what's going on in your life, there is a solution. The solution is not self-deletion. I mean, reach out to a mental health professional, reach out to your loved ones, and of course, reach out to God. Okay, because God does hear prayer. So, with that being said, I'm going to call it a night. I do appreciate all those appear in the chat, and of course, I appreciate my friend Georgia boarding this flight. Okay. This is your captain informing all the passengers and the crew that we'll be arriving at our destination. Please buckle your seatbelts. Make sure that your trays are back in the original position, and remain seated for the meaning of the flight. And of course, I'm gonna close the same way that I always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negro. Wishing all of you a pleasant weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you for boarding our flight, and I hope that you will, and again, Uncommon Airlines in another flight in the near future. Take care. Have a blessed weekend. And excuse me. Let me just shut. Oh, okay. So take care. Stay blessed and peace.